G'day. Today it's about practical matters, the nuts and bolts of how to go about getting something out of the technique. So the technique is close your eyes, relax, and stay awake. For many people, they'll find they've got a pretty good command over their attention span. Noticing tension in the body, relaxing, trying to be as relaxed and find the natural state. They won't be too diverted from that. But there will be other people who perhaps are new to meditation, have a bit of a daydreaming issue. Well, first thing to understand about daydreaming is that that's not going to be a problem in this either. But there's a couple of approaches you can take to speed things along a little bit. So let's say you have been daydreaming. Yeah, you stayed awake, but you start thinking about things and you wandered well away from the chosen task. A couple of things you can do. When you realize that, yeah, I'm just daydreaming here, I'm not really doing anything, try and see if you can remember, well, what was the start of the thoughts? I started well, then something occurred to me and I ran with it. What was that thought? And if you can do that, very good. If you then say, okay, well, why did I think about that? What triggered that thought? If you can remember that, you'll notice that there was something spurred it, and that's what you want to look for. You want to see, well, okay, was there a memory? Was there a twinge or a physical thing or some sort of noise maybe that triggered it off? Now, what you're going to be looking for that's useful in all of that is what's the feeling associated with that initial thought? Because that's what came from your subconscious. And that's where you want to take this. You want to become more alive to your subconscious thoughts, subconscious experience. And over time, noticing that becomes a bit of a skill that you've developed. All right, now let's say, oh, you can't remember. Phew, what was it? Okay, so there's another way you can approach that problem. Okay, you remember what the last thing was that you thought about. What was the thought before that? If you can remember that. Oh, and the thought before that. There's a daisy chain of thought that led to the point where you woke up to daydreaming. Okay, now you may or may not, doing that, come back to the original thing that diverted you. But even if you can't, that also is developing a bit of a skill, which comes in very handy. The technique is all about bringing the subconscious into conscious awareness, and that is actually meditation. Falling asleep is going to happen when you practice this technique. But let's get a little bit real here. In all meditation techniques, meditators fall asleep all the time. You're not fighting with yourself. Right? You're encouraging yourself to be relaxed. You're encouraging yourself to be alert. And every time you have a go at that, you're starting to build a habit of being relaxed and alert, which naturally will carry through when you're not meditating. It's the cumulative effect that is the important bit to understand. What this technique's all about is finding, well, what's the most natural state to be in? It's about the cumulative benefit that you derive over the years. And you, bit by bit, achieve a quiescent or silent state within yourself, the undisturbed state. But anyway, falling asleep, don't worry about it. It'll happen. What's important with this technique is when you wake up, keep going. If you want to get the most out of this technique, well, start off being comfortable. Don't impose any unnecessary stress. So if you've got a comfortable chair, or you want to do it lying down, yep, perfect. That'll be fine. It doesn't matter that you fall asleep from time to time. As I've explained, that's going to happen. What you're looking for are body tensions, and a lot of those are going to be quite easy to find. The real value in this technique is over time you start to find the really subtle stuff. And if you're imposing a strict posture upon yourself, well, unless it's an extremely comfortable way for you to sit, the effort that you're putting into maintaining that posture can easily mask subtle tension. And you may not become aware of those things for a very long time. Well, that's the slow way to go to succeed. Start off being relaxed, and any tensions that appear, they'll become apparent pretty quickly. And then you explore those. Why are you tense? Especially if you notice this tension has been there for a long time. That's the main instruction for the how-to of this thing. You want to relax. And when you discover areas where you're not relaxed, explore that. Why? Why am I not relaxed? As you become more physically aware of tension, well, that's the beginning of having some opportunity to do something about it. It's when there's a tension that you're oblivious to, that you live with. There's nothing you can do when you don't know it's there. It still affects you, but you can't relax it unless you know it's there. So that's the last bit of practical advice that you need to know to get something out of this technique. So, see you later.